all right. Now that'll be worth seeing.
That won't be fun.
Right. This is Fontain, after all. Such a grand opera house. It would be a pity not to use it.
Why do you care so much about the crowd's reactions? Seems you spent a little too much time in the opera house.
She's right.
Besides, how exactly do you plan to have a duel in court? You mean you're going to put us on trial?
Oh, we have reason to put you on trial. It's obvious, isn't it? According to Fontaine law, no one is permitted to release any flying objects within Fontaine city limits during the first 3 days of each month. You are clearly guilty of violating this law, no?
Ce-a făcut? It's permitted to release any flying objects. Ce dracu flying objects? Să nu înțeleg.
Oh, so that's what they've done wrong. That's our Lady Farina. No one knows the laws of Fontaine like she does.
You call that obvious? What kind of law is that? Wait, flying object? You mean Paimon?
Precisely! Now, if you two have no objections, then in the name of the Hydro Archon, I order your arrest.
Mă du-te, naibii.
My apologies, Lady Farina. I don't mean to spoil the fun, but if you would allow me to interject, I don't think that Paimon here meets the definition of a flying object.
You tell her, Winnie! Finally someone who's not crazy. How could anyone call Paimon a flying object?
Care ești? Ce? Nu!
Ah, great magician Linny, my beloved citizen. I'll permit you to object, but how exactly do you plan to prove your claim?
As a magician who just rained on your parade, I naturally should shoulder the responsibility of saving the show. So, with such an audience gathered here, allow me to perform a trick for everyone.
Aoleu. Opa.
Ta-da!
What's that on Paimon's back? Hey, when did you do that?
Oh my fucking god, nu pot să cred.
There. As you can all clearly see, Paimon should be classified as, well, something like a balloon. This rope has been in the traveler's hand all along. It was just that no one could see it before.
Asta e când a dat el mâna și a pus apa. Doamne ferească, mă, Sfântul Arlechino, prostie educa copiii. Mint, i-a educat bine, dai dracu, că i-a făcut ultimii scruci. Nu-s copiii, dacă e de... Așa că de lumea, efectiv, comunitatea crede că Lenny, Linet și încă unul sunt copiii lui Arlechino.
Huh? You call that magic? You've got to be joking.
Tro!
I thought it was pretty good. Nice one.
Kill me. Let me fight you all.
Huh. I'm not sure what to think. It seems Lady Farina's charges no longer hold water.
Amusing. Very amusing, Linny. Just the sort of unexpected twist that I enjoy. With you here, today's performance can finally be called complete.
Performance? You see all this as a performance?
In which case, consider the matter of your trial resolved. The god of justice will not bring charges against an innocent person.
Firea naibii cu teatru tău cu tot.
But when there are valid grounds, I will not only judge travelers from abroad, but even the gods of other lands.
I dare you. I dare you. Hai, să te văd cum îi faci față lui Raiden. Hai. Hai, I dare you. Sau lui Zhongli. Hai. Hai.
I look forward to seeing your upcoming performance at the Opera House, Mr. Linney and Miss Lynette. That's enough for now. Toodaloo!
Aia a fost genul de a zice de la revedere. Dar ce dracu, aia ai probleme la cap, ce-ai? Clorin de acolo pe post de cățeluș. She does nothing, literally.
Just like that. She's gone. Well, that's the most unpredictable Archon Paimon's ever seen. You never even had a chance to ask her anything. But that's a problem for future Paimon. That whole scene just now was really...
Let me correct you, Paimon. Raiden was more unpredictable than that. She drew up the sword against you. To what the fuck are you talking about? She almost killed you.
Don't mention it. I just happened to remember that there was such a law, so I did a little preparation, just in case. I didn't think it would actually come in handy. So, now do you see what kind of god Lady Farina is?
Even she has two faces. Even she.
She can be a bit confusing at times, but she is still amenable to reason.
Anyway, Paimon had no idea you were a magician, Linny. It sounded like you'll be performing at the Opera House, right?
I just know a few simple tricks I use to make a living. Lynette is my assistant.
And your sister.
It will actually be my first time performing on the most prestigious stage in Fontain, the Opera House.
And something bad is gonna happen. Because their adoptive mother, I can see.
But isn't the Opera House where criminal trials are held in Fontaine?
Yeah.
When there are no public trials being held, the Opera House hosts a variety of other performances. To the people of Fontaine, the line between a trial and a performance can be a little blurred.
It's called Opera House. Actually, it can be showed some shows over there.
And speaking of performances, I would be remiss to forego this opportunity gifted by fate. Might I invite the two of you to see my performance?
Yes,
My brother's always excited to make new friends.
as you are. For the first time, you smile.
Oh, sure. We don't really have anything to do now, and we wanted to go to the Opera House anyway.
Splendid. In that case, why don't we go together? I'll show you the way. I just have something to take care of first. Oh, you really mean it? Then I'll take you up on your offer. This is a magical item known as a magic pocket. Perhaps you can help me distribute them to the people here.
Ce e asta? Asta costă, ce naiba?
Huh? What are they going to use it for?
About that. You asked me before about the prophecy, right? Let me start by telling you a little more about what it entails. I'm not sure exactly when it began, but a prophecy has been circulating around Fontaine. It says that every person in Fontaine is born with sin. No matter how the nation of justice holds trial after trial, this sin cannot be absolved.
Farina's crying.
Until one day, the water levels in Fontaine will rise, and the sinful people will slowly be drowned.
Ce?
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
What the fuck, Farina?
That sounds pretty gloomy. Why are people in Fontaine born with sin? What is that supposed to mean?
There are lots of guesses. Some say that the ancestors of Fontaine stole the power of the seas and stirred its wrath. Others say that the people of Fontaine never heeded the first Hydro Archon's warnings and offended Celestia. But here in Fontaine, evidence is what matters. There hasn't been concrete evidence for any of these claims, so they can only be regarded as conjecture.
If even the people in Fontaine don't know what sin they committed, wouldn't it be better just to ignore the prophecy completely?
That's exactly what the people did at first. But in the last few years, the water levels in Fontaine have actually started rising.
Many places have already been completely submerged, and now lie beneath the sea.
Many people carry on with their lives as before and shrug it off as a natural phenomenon. But my family and I think that the people of Fontaine shouldn't ignore the possibility, which would end up sentencing them to death. We hope that at least the people who reside near the waterfront can move away before it's too late. So, we've started distributing magic pockets to them. As a magical item, these magic pockets have astonishing capacity. I'm sure they will come in handy when people are moving their belongings.
Oh, Hyman gets it! It's like preparing for a rainy day! But this is more than a bit of rain.
Perhaps only absolute power could ever contend with such a catastrophe. But who knows? We're just tiny specks in the grand scheme of things. Now, if you'd like to help, then please give these magic pockets to anyone nearby. Be sure to convince them to take it, regardless of what they say.
I'm right now thinking out many stuff. Because even if I didn't play this, I know some things from others. Things that kinda scares me, but I know. What can I say? Gata, am pus pauză, ce vrei? Tu nu înțelegi unul cum se poate scrie aici, nu? E un tema.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water, transitory. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water, transitory. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging.